Connect you with the Warhammer 30k battle report.
Yeah, 3,000 points. And we'll roll for mission here and show you the armies. Alright, so here's 3,000 points of Solar Auxilia traders. Here is the command section, which is got the Warlord in it. And there's also Proclamator and Grenade Launcher and Plasma Gun in there. They're in Aurochs with multi-laser and extra armor. In the Elites, with 2 choices of quad launchers. In Troops, 2 units of Velites with Full Kite and Milk Bomb on the Sarge and Shroud Bombs, as well as Aurochs transport for each with multi-laser and extra armor. In Fast Attack, there's Lightning Strike Fighter with all of its choices in Kraken Penetrator missiles, and it has all the upgrades for Strafing Run, Tank Hunters, and the Flare Shields. Then there's a unit of 2 Leman Russes, 1 Battle Tank, and 1 Vindicator, and there's Tank Commander, HQ choice in there. Then there's 2 more Battle Tanks. And the Vanquisher has multi-laser, or a las cannon and counter killer missile on it as well. Then in heavy support, there's a Medusa, a Leman Russ with a Executioner plasma cannon and a multi-laser, Leman Russ with Demolisher cannon, and this one has armored ceramite. And then there is a Baneblade for Lord of War with armored ceramite, las cannon, heavy bolter sponsons, and then targeters. And the other tank commander is in there. And this tank commander has preferred enemy infantry. This one has tank hunters. And that's 3,000 points of Solar Auxilia. Traders.
Here's 3,000 points of Imperial Fists with no right of war. But I do have a Lord of War choice. It's the Typhon. It's got the side sponson las cannons, armored ceramite, and pinto mounted multi-multi. In my heavy support choices over here, I have a Whirlwind Scorpius with no upgrades, and the Vindicator with the Plow and Machine Spirit. Then I have 6 las cannons. The Sergeant has Artificer armor. And then down to Elites, I have a unit of 10 Terminators. There's 5 Chain Fists, 5 Storm Shields, 3 Power Swords and Combi Bolters, a Power Fist Assault Cannon, and a Power Fist Combi Bolter. The other 2 Elite slots, I have 2 Quad Launchers with Thunder Shells. And then I have 1 Fast Attack slot, just the Land Speeder with 200 Killer Missiles, a Multi-Multa, and a Graviton Gun. And then in my troops, I have Assault Squad, and they have Melta Bombs, Combat Shields, 2 Power Axes in the squad, and the Sergeant has Artificer Armor and Power Sword. And then this tactical squad here has Nuncio Vox, a Vexilla, Sergeant has a Power Axe, Melta Bomb, and Artificer Armor, and they have additional combat weapons, and they have a Rhino with a Pinto Mounted Multi-Multa and Dozer Blades. And I think I forgot to mention it, but the Terminators are in Spartan, and it has Armored Ceramite, Flare Shields, Dozer Blades, Auxiliary Drive. I think that's it. And then lastly, my HQ here, I have Sigismund, and he'll be with the Terminators, and same as Primus Medicae, and he has a Refractor Field, Artificer Armor, Power Axe, and that's it. And they'll be in the Spartan with the Terminators. And that's 3,000 points of Imperial Fist.
So, for the mission, we rolled up Dominion, and I rolled my Warlord trait with Stealth Ruins, which is great for this board. The 5 progressive scoring objectives are here, here, one in there, one up there, and one back here by this deployment zone. Now the Imperial Fists rolled up that they are the attacker, so they're deploying first over on this end, and the Solar Auxilia will deploy after over here.
We'll see you after some deployment.
Alright, here we are deployed. I have a few units in transports here, so here's one of the infantry squads. Demolishers here, Lehman Russ squad, Executioner. Quad Gun and Medusa right here is the command squad, and there are Aurochs. Blades back here, here's the other quad gun, and there's the other troop squad right up on the edge, close to that objective.
And I got unit of assault marines over here. Kind of going to use this building for some cover. My Vindicator with machine spirit. My 2 units of quad launchers up here in the building. Land speeder kind of tucked in there. I got the whirlwind down over here, underneath the balcony. And then I have my Typhon and my Spartan sandwiched between these 2 buildings here. Then I have my last cannon squad up on top. And a tactical squad and Rhino tucked behind the building. And I have nothing in reserve. And then for reserves down here.
Right here I have 2 Lehman Russes outflanking, just in one squadron together. And the Lightning Strike Fighters coming in reserve. And that's it. We'll try to seize the initiative here.
So yeah, now the Solar Auxilia are going to try to seize the initiative from the Imperial Fists.
Oh. Alright, so Imperial Fists movement phase, and then we'll get back to the recap.
So in the movement phase, this assault squad just kind of jumped up around this building, ready to pounce down on the other side next turn. This tank moved up 12 inches because it has machine spirit. It's going to take a shot at something over there. Everything on and around this building just stayed still to shoot next turn at something this turn. The Spartan moved up 12 inches. The Rhino moved up 12 inches. And this Typhon moved up also to get a shot at all the Lehman Russes down there. And that was Imperial Fists turn 1 movement, and I'll get back to you after shooting. So turn 1 shooting Imperial Fists, start over on this side. This assault squad just ran a bit more, get him some closer to the enemy. This tank shot over here at this transport and hit both these, including the Medusa. It actually blew up the Medusa and immobilized the transport. I fired my land speeder's 200 killer missiles at this Baneblade and did no damage. This quad launcher here shot its thunder shells at this quad launcher and killed one of the crew. And I shot this Typhon, this big 7-inch blast template over here, and it blew up both of these Lehman Russes and did a whole point through the transport these guys were in. And then these last cannons finished off the transport they were in. It blew up and I killed a couple. And then this quad launcher here finished off a few more with its big 5-inch blast. And the whirlwind hiding behind the building here tried to take a blind shot at this Leman Russ hiding in this building by the edge of the board. And it scattered 12 inches back right on top of my Spartan, but it didn't actually do any damage. And the Spartan itself and the Rhino both turbo boosted up. So that's Imperial Fist, turn 1 shooting, and it did quite a bit of damage. Killed 2 Leman Russes here, plus a Medusa. Managed to pin this quad gun and really hurt this veteran squad. So we'll see what kind of damage the Solar Auxilia can do in their turn 1.
Alright, so for movement, I moved my transport over here where I could capture that objective. Unloaded my unit here so I could get an Nuncio Vox on these guys and get some Volkite shots off on them. I moved the Baneblade up a little bit so that I could get the Demolisher Cannon on the Vindicator there. Backed up this Leman Russ. Moved these guys away and I'm going to run them in the shooting phase, get them into this building. And move this Leman Russ to here. So back to the end shooting phase. The Solar Auxilia shooting phase. This snap firing quad gun fired over here along with the plasma gun from the Leman Russ and blew up that Rhino, but we died. Demolisher cannon fired up here, killed 1 guy from this squad. And over here, Baneblade fired its main cannon, did a wound here, and the Landspeeder jinked. These guys are pinned from failing a morale check. I did my orbital bombardment out of here and actually scattered off and killed 1 guy up top there. And then killed a couple guys with Volkite. Oh, and the Baneblade also managed to immobilize and do 2 hull points with the plasma cannons there. And that is the end of Solar Auxilia turn. So we're on to Imperial Fist turn 2.
In the movement phase, the tactical squad just kind of moved up to surround this Leman Russ. Can't charge it this turn, but maybe next turn. The Spartan moved up 12 inches here. Just going to go make a run for the Baneblade. The Typhon moved up just enough to get a shot off. Landspeeder moved out of cover here. It's still jinked, but maybe get a lucky shot off. These Assault Marines jumped out of the cover to try and assault this squad. And that's about all that moved. So this is what the board's looking like going into Imperial Fist turn 2 shooting phase. So starting down here, the Assault Marines that jumped over shot their bolt pistols and killed two guys. Over here, the Demolisher Cannon shot at all these guys that were in transport, but it scattered hard over and hit the Baneblade and did 1 hull point. This Landspeeder, because it jinked last turn, took a snapshot up here and didn't do anything. This Spartan shot some las cannons here and here. Sorry, no, at this thing and the Baneblade. Didn't do anything, but the Typhon did pretty good. It shot over here at these guys' transport and the Baneblade and did a hull point and blew up the transport. Then over here, the Tactical Marines took some shots at the guys in the building. Didn't do anything. These las cannons took some shots at the Leman Russ. And the Leman Russ made all of its saves, or it failed to do anything. Same as this quad launcher, tried to shoot the Leman Russ, didn't do anything. I did shoot the Whirlwind at these 3 guys that are hiding out in the building. And it did a 12-inch scatter, or like a 10-inch scatter, over and hit the Leman Russ directly in the center. I ended up doing 2 hull points to it and killed 2 of my own guys. But I also shook it. So that's pretty good. And we'll get back to you after Imperial Fist's assault phase, turn 2. So in my assault phase, I went to go charge these Volkite dudes, but they have shroud bombs, so I actually failed my leadership test to charge them, and I couldn't do anything. So that was the Imperial Fist turn 2 assault phase. Get back to you with Solar Auxilia turn 2.
So, the Primaris Lightning Strike Fighter did not come on, but these Leman Russes did, which I brought on, hidden from everything except for the tactical squad that was here. Then in an attempt to push them closer together, I tank shocked them with this Leman Russ, but they actually failed their morale check and fell back. That's unfortunate, actually. Now I have no shot with these guys. Over here, I moved out of the ruins with these guys, see if I can't get a Melta Bomb off on the Spartan. And spread these guys out, moved up a little bit with the Bane Blade, even though it makes them vulnerable. At least I can shoot with all the guns now. And spun this around here to get a couple shots off of these Assault Marines. See how that goes. Alright, so we'll get back to you after shooting phase. Okay, shooting phase over here. Fired these plasma cannon shots down here at this squad and managed to kill 4 of them. And over here, so the Bane Blade led everything out over here, and a couple shots here, managed to do 1 hull point. Managed to blow these up. The actual quad gun finished this one off. The other quad gun fired over here and killed a couple guys, and they failed their morale check and ran off. So that assault squad's gone. And also a haywire grenade out of the command squad. Managed to do 1 hull point and shake that Spartan. So, going to the assault phase and back here. So, charge this Spartan, no bomb yet, and go plants. So that's that. 1, 2, cut this, turn 3.
So, in the movement phase, this tactical squad rallied. I just kind of shuffled it over a bit. And then this Typhon moved over to get a clean shot at the Leman Russ over there. This Spartan moved up, and all the Terminators and 6 men came out. And that's about it for the moving. So we'll get back to you after turn 3 shooting. So in the shooting phase, this Land Raider shot last cannons here, made all his cover saves, shot a last cannon over here, didn't hit because it was shaken. The assault cannon from the Terminators actually managed to do a hull point to the side of that big tank, which is pretty sweet. This guy over here fired his big gun at the Land Raider behind the building, and all of its multi-milked and 2 last cannons at these dudes, trying to get them off the objective. Failed to do anything to the Land Raider, and killed 2 guys off that objective, but he managed to pass his morale check. These 4 last cannons got 1 shot through to the Leman Russ, which ended up destroying its heavy bolter. So 1 hull point left, not shaken or nothing. This quad launcher tried to shoot the Leman Russ, but nothing went through. And this quad launcher tried to shoot this quad launcher, and nothing went through. My last shot was the Whirlwind, which shot all the way over here at these guys, and only had 2 shots, and that's where they landed. So I already rolled up my charge for my Terminators, and they're going to attack the tank and this squad in a multi-charge. So we'll hopefully get a Warlord on Warlord 6-man challenge here. And we'll get back to you after that. So, in the Imperial Fist Assault phase, I killed his Warlord with Sigsman in a challenge to get the extra victory points. And I killed a few of his dudes just with some random Terminators, and then between all my Chain Fists and Power Fists, I finished off the Baneblade. And when it blew up and went Mega Apocalyptic or whatever, it scattered back here, and that's where it landed. And that was the only combat to do this phase. And these guys ended up passing a Stubborn Leadership 8 morale check, so we're actually locked up, which is pretty good for me. And we'll get back to you at Solar Auxilia turn 3.
The Lightning Strike Fighter came in, and I moved it right there. Over here. These Leman Russes moved over so they can get a shot at the back of the Whirlwind. This Lone Guardsman here just moved over here, sliding around at the edge of 3 inches from that objective. He scored 1 this turn, and so did that transport over there. Moved up a little with this Leman Russ to get a more clear shot at those tactical squad. And move the transport out to go for that objective. Move this squad over to go for this objective. And we'll get back to the after shooting phase. So the end of the Imperial Fist, or the Solar Auxilia shooting phase. These guys move over here and shot at that Whirlwind, doing 2 hull points and shaking it. This quad gun shot all the way over. And killed 1 guy out of this last cannon squad way down here. And the Lightning Strike Fighter fired everything at the Typhon, did all but 1 hull point to it. The Demolisher Cannon fired at it, did the last hull point to it, and managed to kill 1 of these tactical squad guys. The other one was killed by the plasma shots from here, at which point they went to ground. Other than that, there was just a turbo boost here up to this objective, and these guys ran up onto this objective. And we got that little combat to clean up here, and then it'll be Imperial Fist turn 4. So, combat phase, wrap up. Sigismund and his unit, kill the rest of these guys, and consolidate over to here, and it's now Imperial Fist's turn 4.
So in the movement phase, these Terminators moved up to hopefully charge this, maybe the quad launcher, and very unlikely, but these guys. Sigsman separated from the unit to hopefully go for this quad launcher, but got a really bad move to cover and is stuck down there. This Spartan just 180, so I can get its las cannons over here, and PMS the heavy bolter onto that guy. These guys went to ground last turn, and I had to shuffle some of these guys around just to get back into coherency. And then the Whirlwind that was here just moved a little bit farther over because it's shaking. And it'll be Imperial Fist turn 4 shooting phase. So the Spartan shot, heavy bolter killed the guy that was right there. 2 las cannons finished off the Leman Russ Demolisher. Las cannon shot at the Leman Russ down there, but didn't do anything. This quad launcher here shot at the Lightning. It didn't jink. I managed to get a hit and a pen, and I stunned it. This quad launcher here shot at the Leman Russes, and I got a glance. So we'll get back to you after Imperial Fist Assault phase, where these Terminators are going to do a multi-charge on this and the quad launcher, and Sigsman is going to try and charge the quad launcher. See ya after that. In the assault phase, the Terminators charged, finished off this transport, finished off that quad launcher, and consolidated 2 inches. Sigsman killed that quad launcher, consolidated 3 inches, and that was all the combats. So now it's going to be Solar Auxilia turn 4.
So Solar Auxilia recap the movement phase. These guys moved up here. This Leman Russ moved forward. Plane moved forward because it has to. And I used the induction chargers over here. Move this guy's 12 inches. And that is it on shooting phase. So in the shooting phase, you can show the Volkites right here. Killed 2. Shot out of the sky with snap firing because there's damage there. And did 1 hull point, destroyed that last cannon. Down to 2. Have no missiles left. Fired the plasma of the battle cannons up here and didn't do any wounds. They went to ground. That's the end of the shooting phase. I have no assaults, so we're on to Imperial.
So Imperial Fist, turn 5, movement phase. These tactical marines just moved over. They're going to run, maybe go for a last turn score on that objective. These last cannons went to ground last turn, didn't move. Over here, the Spartan that was there just turned and backed up and went the full 12 inches. It's going to hopefully get a last cannon shot off at the Lightning or maybe a Leman Russ. These Terminators just moved over to maybe get a long bomb charge off on these guys. And Sigsman came down from the building here. Maybe get a lucky crack grenade or 2 off on this Leman Russ. And that is turn 5. Probably do a combined assault and shooting phase and get back to you after that. So a combined Imperial Fist, turn 5, shooting and assault phase. The Terminators took some shots at this squad here with their combi bolters and assault cannon. And the assault cannon actually, best thing of the turn, it rolled 3 1s and jammed up. And it rolled a 2, so it didn't even hit at all. And then I got a couple combi bolter shots. Didn't kill any with those. Got the huge charge off though and murdered them all, except for this one guy who rolled a double 1 for his leadership test. And the whirlwind actually also shot over here. Oh no, it wasn't the whirlwind, it was the quad launcher. Shot over here, scattered hard, and hit my own Terminators, but they all passed their armor saves. This Spartan that spun around PMS this last cannon that's left at the Leman Russ, and it made its cover saves, but then Sigsman in the Primus Medicaid charged it and glanced it out. This tactical squad just tried to run and only went 1 inch, but the best shot of my turn was these 4 las cannons that went to ground. Snapshot at the Primaris Lightning Strike Fighter that was here, and got 2 6s for the hits, failed its straight save, and killed it. Over here, this quad launcher and the whirlwind that's behind the building shot at these Leman Russes, and this one took a glance. So that's going to be the end of Imperial Fist turn 5, and also the end of the game, because I'm up on victory points with attrition and Sigsman getting his Warlord trait D3 victory points and getting a Warlord kill. And the only thing left for the Solar Auxilia are this one guy who's fighting this whole unit of Terminators, which is insane bravery, and these 2 Leman Russes that can do some damage, but just not enough to change the outcome of the game. So we'll do a little post game and get back to you there.
Alright, that's our game. Pretty sound victory for the Imperial Fist there. Not much left on the table. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, Sigsman did pretty good with getting the Warlord kill for the extra victory points.
Yeah.
Biggest fail of the match for me is probably my Assault Marines failing the leadership test for the charge and then running off the field from Alcha.
Yeah. Like the lights that were fighting them, probably my MVP.
Yeah. The only thing still left alive.
Yeah.
Typhon did great for me all game 2. It did eventually die, but got solid kills up until then.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.